What is up, my BBossBaddies and my Batman fellas? It is your girl Bosana and welcome, BBossArmy. So as you guys can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about why women lose interest fast, y'all. And I'm really like calm and relaxed right now. It's pretty late over here. So if I'm very like lower tone, I just will tell you guys to turn up the volume because today is one of those days. Even when I'm loud, I'll tell you to turn down the volume. So I'm just saying that to give you guys a heads up. I'll try to project my voice as much as I can, but I'm definitely very mellow and tired right now. Okay, so with that being said, thank you guys so much for your love and support. And please give this video a huge thumbs up and we can go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I want to talk about for why women lose interest fast is you were never the one. You were never the one for her. You were never the one that she looked at. She could have looked at you and said, hey, this guy, he's the one, but she felt otherwise later on. So if she is losing interest, it shows enough to tell you that there is a problem. You know what I mean? It's not like these other things that come about where, hey, a woman is like, going a few hours without texting you and stuff like that. Those are kind of common and normal, right? But it's not like that. When we get to this point of she goes ahead and feels like, hey, I picked the wrong type of guy, is because she knew from the jump. A lot of times women will act as if like, hey, I don't really know, or was I supposed to know type of thing. But it's all in their head. Whether she's wrong or not, whether it's incorrect or not, if she's acting otherwise when you finally show your true colors, or you finally said, I'm fed up, and she finally said, let me step back, it's because she was never strongly about you. She would have waited it out, right? She would have said, okay, let me keep going on. A lot of times women will go ahead and pursue something with a man that's not even their type, and knowing at the end, when it comes down to like a month or a year later, you and that man and you will not be together. She already expected it or had that in her mind. So girls go into this because sometimes you guys offer something. Sometimes you guys kind of like be like, hey, well, I just met you, but let me take you out, right? Okay, cool. I'm not going to hate on that. You can definitely do that pickup line. It's just you got to be careful because sometimes you have to say other things to women when you can kind of get that vibe or feeling like if you said something like that, it wouldn't work out. But that's besides the point. So if you go ahead and say that to a woman, y'all got to get that it's going to catch up later on. These females out here having other options, which, I kind of said a little bit too much about the next points, but it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we have to come to a realization to understand when it comes down to women, they have specific types. And also, when I talk about types, I'm not necessarily talking about, hey, you have to have money and status, right? The typical things that women go for. I'm talking about, hey, well, she wants a guy that has this type of funniness. He has money, right? The money is already expected. But now we're talking about characteristics, traits, right? We're talking about those type of things, strategies that you may have, charisma that you might have, right? Confidence that is beyond this world. Like, those are the things that women will pay attention to. So oftentimes a woman will say, I'm into the typical 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", maybe higher, or 6 foot. Maybe that's where they start off. And the other things that they will say is obviously status. I want to brush that off because we know about that. But even a physical trait, right? Oftentimes they have a specific type of physical trait that they will go back to. So if they give you a chance, y'all got to understand that when they give you a chance, they look down on you. As a fella, there is no good thing about a woman basically trying to tell you, and don't mind my nails, I'm in the process of taking them off. There's only like 2 left, so don't mind those ones. But for most women nowadays, the process of getting with a man, it's not necessarily about the type of man that they want. So that's why ultimately when it becomes the time where they lose interest, you being not the type of man that she would typically go for is the excuse of to why she would leave you. And that's why a lot of women will act like, hey, well, I left him for just because he was being rude to me or disrespectful, or he's this type of guy, trying to blame it on you when it's not your fault. So if she got with you when you weren't really her type of guy, that just really means that you weren't really her type, of course, but she gave you a chance. And when she gave you the chance, sometimes depending on the woman, it could be on the lesser side, but ultimately they're giving you a chance and they want you to prove why you are that type of guy, even though you don't have the basics of what she expected in the beginning. So it's like, hey, it's kind of hard to, do that, right? And this is the last thing I'll touch on before I move on, but it's crazy to me that a lot of girls will kind of be like, hey, well, I'll talk to him, give him a chance, knowing that he's probably most times the opposite of what she likes, but maybe he has money or something caught her interest that she said. And that's another thing that you got to keep in mind. Something about you made her be like, okay, well, I'm interested. It's not because one day that man right there, I picked you. You got to be giving her something, because those 1 days, how many 1 days does she have all the time? She goes out, gets groceries, she goes out with her friends, she goes out for a walk, she goes out to walk the dog, she goes out with her family, friends, she goes out to go out. She's going to run into those 1 days, one time, this guy, all the time. You get what I'm saying? So to wrap up with this last point, I really just want you guys to get, if you were never her type, you have way more pressure on you. Now, if I didn't get to elaborate, or I kind of, forgot about certain stuff that I wanted to say, it's cool. We'll always talk about this, but y'all gotta get that if she has a certain type, most times you're always gonna be on the edge, because you're not gonna make that type specifically, and of course because of the fact that you were never that type. So she's ultimately expecting you to live up to what she wants, but you don't have to do that. And that's why a lot of guys get caught up. Y'all get caught up in trying to please her and love her and be there for her for so long, but you'll never ever be able to give that to her. Okay? All right. Understand that. Maybe that'll help you move on. You will never be the man, no matter how much you change yourself or become her type. Because at the end of the day, she knows you for what she met you as. Even if you change later on, you still have those traits or habits. Unless you did like a 360 complete turn, like unexpectable and kind of almost on the more unimpossible side, that's kind of different. But we gotta talk about the regular type of things. All right, next point that I have is she at least has one other guy there ready for her. So this point, I'm gonna try to kind of go briefly towards it, and I'm only saying this because when a woman knows that she has another guy, most times it's kind of common, right? When you guys approach a woman, or a woman is around your vibe, she hangs out with you, or she has a thing for you, it really does not matter, because at the end of the day, y'all men are the ones that are supposed to approach women. Y'all men are the ones that are supposed to make that first move. Y'all are supposed to do pretty much everything. So if that's the case, of course, most times this woman's gonna be feeling like, well, ultimately, back to number 2, she has to at least have another guy. She will. If y'all are doing the same type of things to get a girl, because that's how everything's pretty much is anyways, she's still gonna have somebody else, because somebody else is willing to do it, always. When it comes down to women, because they have a vajayjay, and I told you guys how much power it holds, there will always be a guy that wants it. Not always, hey, you look good and I want you, or hey, I want you for the night because you look good. Could be that case, but you have a vajayjay. Guys get hard, right? Y'all know. Y'all are watching me. No fab, right? Semen retention, sorry, right? All those things are factors. So ultimately, when I talk to you guys, I want y'all to understand that to wrap up with this last point is that I was about to burp. I was not going to do it on camera, but so ultimately, I want you guys to understand that there is no change that you guys can have with this girl having another man. There will be another man waiting for her. And I know that's not a pleasant thing to hear, or what you guys mostly want to hear, but I definitely do want to say that you definitely don't have to wait. Every option that you make after dealing with a woman, noticing that she loses interest, is up to you, because nobody's forcing you. Even if she tries to call you, text you, blow up your phone, which is possible to happen if you follow the simple things that you got to do, even if that's the case, you don't have to stay there. You decide what you want at the end of the day. So knowing that she has other women, if you talk to this woman and she's kind of giving you a weird vibe, awkward vibe, you're not enjoying her company and she's pushing you away, that then will tell you, hey, you know what? You're not the woman for me. Or you know what? I thought there was something here, but we're definitely not getting somewhere. So that then means cut her off. No contact. Ghosting. Blocking, I told you guys, if you watch my other videos, I'm not a fan of ghosting at all, but we'll talk about it in a different video. But are not ghosting, blocking. So blocking is another thing that people often do. There's so many options of things that you guys can go ahead and do, okay? So never forget it just because you're caught up in the feelings of her or she's making you feel away. Last thing that I want to talk about is you're too much like the other guys that she wants and wants her. So not the first part really matters too much. The guys that she wants that want her are going to be guys that probably just have a little bit more money, or even a lot more can happen. But we have to be realistic. You know, for an average girl, it's not going to be many times where they have that guy that they've been wanting to come to them. No, it's not going to happen like that. But they're definitely going to have upgrades and different guys that have more to offer. So if you're too much like these guys that she does not have a successful past with, she doesn't want to relive, or she's not interested with, it might be that key thing that you do. It could be that one thing that you like, that one thing that you're obsessed with, that one thing that your best friend is like, or that best friend that you run to because he does this, and you know what, you're just obsessed with your best friend because that's the person that you grew up with, right? That's your brother, that's your homie, that's family, even without the blood or the blood. So for her, she's comparing you to these other guys and saying, well, you're like these other guys too much, and that's beyond what I want. That's one part of it, but that's nothing that I want you guys to stress over, because like I just told you guys, it's not going to always happen. All you have to remember with the guys that she likes, that she'll end up brushing off, is if you're giving behavior that she doesn't like. Because at the end of the day, like I said, we have a preference. That girl is going to have a certain guy that she likes, and then the bonuses of what she expects and all those, right? So if you're not that, that's cool, but you don't have to try to change or do anything about it. You gotta accept that that's what she wants, and she has to be okay with that. Because y'all won't even be, you know, understanding what other times women will feel of wanting a certain guy that wasn't even for her. But just remember, she's dealt with a certain type of guy. That type of guy is what she's used to. So if that's not you, it's like, hey, it gets to the point, and this is how we'll wrap up. It gets to the point where you're too much like these other guys. And the last point where I said, these other guys want you. Sorry, these other guys want her. Those other guys that want her, it does not matter that they want you. Or when I say you, I say her, right? It does not matter that these other guys want her, because she's always going to have that. The same way I just said with the last point. It's power, right? VJJ, it's power. It's always going to be there. She can't get rid of it. I mean, maybe if she wants that surgery, but it's there. So it's always having the attraction, especially if she's more on the prettier side or takes care of herself, she's going to have more attraction. So basically her standards and expectations are going to be through the roof. And that's what you guys got to understand with women. All right. So I'm going to wrap up with this. I really do want to elaborate, but I feel like I touched every point pretty good. If there's more that you guys want me to say, let me know. And then you guys will see me in my next video. Bye, you guys. Oh.